This is your project. Here are my 3 notes, my 3 pages of notes on it. Now, you just write like crazy, okay? Write like crazy. This is your field, philosophy, and follow through. The project that we have before us can be seen as an assignment for a grade, or it can be viewed as an opportunity to determine and to solidify what you believe about missions. I'm just giving you I'm not giving you all the details of what you do. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. If this is, I got another project to do in this class. Whew. I understand. I was a student one time. Sometimes you're flying by the seat of your pants, just trying to get something done. It's like, where are you going from one thing to the next? And you said, I think I did that project. I have no idea what I just wrote. I hope that's not going to be the case here. But you need to put some time into it. Be thinking. Not having been a missionary, you will be very idealistic. Okay? When you get to a mission field, you may actually change some of your plans. Like, that was a dumb thing. That was a dumb goal. The goals, you don't have to reach every goal you set. Sometimes you set a goal and you realize that wasn't a wise goal, and you change your goals. And sometimes you set some pretty aggressive goals, and hey, if you don't reach them, that's okay. At least you were shooting for something. If you had nothing to shoot for, you wouldn't have gotten as far as you did. I think if you're going to be a missionary, I think a survey trip is very important. It helps you get a better feel for the country and for the people of that country. And you want to be sure to visit a good missionary, one who's got a good philosophy, or you could be taking some wrong lessons into your future ministry. Okay, the lady students, you say, well, I'm not going to be like the main missionary thing. Okay. All right. I suggest you approach this project from the perspective of a missionary wife. My husband and I will finish deputation. Then we will go to Chile. And then we will enroll in language school. And then, my husband will organize it. You get the idea? You can do it that way. Ladies, you may say, well, I'm going to be a single missionary. Okay, you may do some mission work, but this is a philosophy of missions. You really need to understand and have a biblical basis for what you intend to do and be able to relay that properly in this project. So if you say, well, I'm just going to go and, help teach in a school somewhere. So you're a Christian school teacher? Yes. Okay. What are you doing in missions? I'm a Christian school teacher. Well, is a Christian school teacher in America a Christian school teacher, or are they a missionary? Well, they are kind of a missionary too, but so I'm not belittling someone who goes to a foreign field and teaches in a Christian school. But understand, there's a whole lot more about missions than you just going to a Christian school teaching in a Christian school. You're helping a missionary. I'm just trying to throw that out at you. If you're going to take that angle, be sure that you can really back it up and come up with a proper biblical philosophy. I would rather you approach it as what we typically say, a church planting missionary. Okay, that's how I would rather you approach it. But if you want the challenge, and you can prove it biblically what you're planning to do and not just get sidetracked, then go ahead. All right, so this is the general outline I'm going to give you, and I'm going to flesh it in here a little bit. Number 1 is going to be field of mission work. Now, you can even make your project that way. Field of mission work. It'll be number 1. Underneath number 1 will be letter A, stated, letter B, described. Okay, so here's someone who actually, this is an older, a former student did this, and they had Roman numeral 1, field of mission work, letter A, stated, and they gave a couple things about where they're going as a missionary. Letter B is description. Now they have several subpoints underneath there. Description, they talked about the language, literacy, life expectancy, population, age ratios, all sorts of different things, religions, missionary tolerance, all sorts of different things about their mission field. Then point number 2 would be philosophy of mission work. So what I want from you is number 1, mission work, field of mission work. Letter A would be stated, letter B would be described. And you fill that in. And I'm going to go back through and talk about all this, but I'm trying to give you the overall outline first. Number 2 would be philosophy of mission work. Letter A would be affirmed position. What is your position on philosophy? Now you can't tell me everything. I just want some general things. We'll talk about what some of those general things might be, but I want you to give me a general idea about what you think missions is. Letter B would be authority. Authority. I want you to talk about the authority of missions. I'll explain that in a few moments. Well, if I get that far, it might be next week. Letter C is affiliations. Affiliations. So, number 2 is philosophy of mission work, affirmed position, authority, affiliations. Number 3 is follow through for mission work. This is your follow through. Your follow through will involve 2 things. Letter A, goals for ministry. And there are 2 goals that I want you to discuss. Number 1 would be short-term goals, things that you would do when you first get to the field and things that you might do in your first term. And then number 2, long-term goals. So number 3 is follow through for mission work. Letter A is goals for ministry. Short-term, number 2, long-term. And then letter B would be plans to accomplish the goals. So you follow through mission work. Letter A is your goals for ministry, and then letter B would be plans to accomplish the goals. Now, if I give you just that, do you have enough to go off of? No. So we're going to fill this in a little bit. Okay, let's at least start with number 1. We'll get A and B covered at least today. Your field stated. I just want you to pick a mission field. I was going to, understated, just choose a country you'd like to research concerning missions. So, and then you tell me what field you're looking at. In particular, you might have a certain part of a country, a certain capital city, or a certain rural area, a certain province that you'd like to go in a certain country. Originally, I was going to say, if you're a foreign student, if you're a missionary kid, or if you've served as an intern somewhere, that you cannot use that mission field. And I thought, well, I'm not going to do that. Because if you really want to talk about that, if you're choosing that as, oh, this will be a lot easier to do the project, well, yeah, that's your deal. If you really have a burden to go back there, and it might help for you to think through how to reach those people. You know the people, you know some of the customs, you know some of the challenges. I don't want to penalize you for thinking it through, but you may also benefit by selecting another country that you just don't know as much about or might be interested in going to. So that might be helpful too. And a lot of, yeah. So you choose your country. You might want to narrow it down to a certain city or area. Then letter B would be described. You want to gather some facts about the country. Somebody once said, you cannot think with an empty head. It's good sense, isn't it? Now you can't think with an empty head. So you can't just say, well, I'm going to go to Nicaragua. Well, do you know anything about Nicaragua? Can you even get in there as a missionary? Okay, what I'm saying is this, what do you know about it? So you need to get some facts about the country. And in particular, you might want to, I'm giving you some pointers. It doesn't mean you have to have all of this. You might have all of this. You might have more or less, but you want to know maybe some of the languages. That's going to be important. You might not, okay, if you go to Zambia, there's 72 of them. I don't want you to list all 72 languages. I don't know all 72 languages, okay? I can greet in about 4 or 5 of them, but it's fine. I don't know them all. I don't want to know them all. I don't want you to take up, hey, that'll help me get 4 to 6 pages. Yeah, outline form, 72 lines. Halfway done the project right there. Yeah, I'm looking at substance, not just page number. I know some of you guys, hey, I got the required number of pages. I don't grade on the required number of pages as much as I'm grading on what you've said. Some people, they can talk a lot and not say anything. You know some people like that, don't you? It's called fluff. And you just kind of fluff your way through. But you really become an effective communicator when you can say a lot with just a few words. Try that. Some of you should. Anyway. So languages. That would be important. If they speak English, that's going to affect one of your short-term goals. Do you have to go to language school? Well, some of you with your English, probably, but typically no, okay? So Lawrence is going to go back to the UK, and he's going to, well, he doesn't have to enroll in language school, okay? And by the way, what country you go to and what area you go to might make a big difference, because in some places there are no language schools. Then what do? Well, then you have to have another, then you better tell me what you're planning on doing. How are you going to learn a language? Well, I'm just not gonna learn it. Okay. So literacy rate. Yeah, it's not one of those earth-shattering important facts. I'm just giving you some ideas. Life expectancy. That can be a factor. When we went to Zambia, the life expectancy of the average Zambian was about 35 years old. Now to you, 35 years old is old. It's nothing. It's nothing. I would have been dead shortly after I got to the country. Now that life expectancy is raised, but that's really going to affect your ministries. Where are you going to focus your attention? You know, it can really affect your ministry. Who are you going to try to minister to? Anyway, age ratios. I think over 50% of when we first went there, it's probably similar, but over 50% of the people were age under 14 in the country, in Zambia, when we went there. Over 50%, over half of the people were under the age of 14. Does that tell you anything? Who am I going to be ministering mostly to? Children. Okay. Resources. What are some of the natural resources? That might have something to do with, where we lived. In one of our places we lived was in the town of Mazubuka. Mazubuka. Mazubuka means you have crossed. You have crossed. It means you've crossed the river. The river's not in there, but you've crossed. The river was the Mugoye River. And when you come and you've crossed the Mugoye River from the other parts of the southern province, you've come into Mazubuka. Mazubuka is known as the sweetest place in the nation, because it's the home of Zambia sugar. I mean, they're endless sugarcane fields, endless. You can go up on the top of the hill in Mazabuca and look down. You cannot see the end. It just goes on and on and on and on. One of the places we lived over another hill, and we could look down in the valley between us and some small mountains on the other side, and just lush green sugarcane. Well, that's going to be a little different. If you're going to be ministering to those people, you're going to be ministering to a different group of people than you would be in an industrialized city, correct? More rural, farm worker type people. People who the majority would not have as much of an education. That's why I'm giving you these ideas. You might want to talk about industries. Okay, if there are industries up in the north of Zambia, and I'm talking about Zambia because that's what I know the most about. Up in the copper, there's a place called the Copper Belt because that's where they have a lot of copper mines. And so there'll be a lot of people involved with the mines. You want to know the customs. Maybe you could write a whole paper about the customs of a certain place. Population, religions. The religions, how many percent is Muslim? How many percent is Buddhist? How many percent is Hindu? How many percent is Christian? And of that quote unquote Christian, how many are really? Job, standard of living, all of that. I'm just trying to throw these things out. I want you to do a little bit of research. In fact, you can do a lot of research, but I don't want a lot of information in your paper. Okay, it doesn't need to be a couple pages worth. You say, well, that's one of the 3 points. So I got 3 points. I'm going to do like 2 pages on that and then 2 pages. No. The bulk of it is going to be your second 2 points. So don't get bogged down and focus too much on this. This is just so that you can fill your head a little bit and have a better idea of how to reach the people you're going to reach. Got it? All right. Number 2, we'll cover next time.